See the harlot riding sinner scarlet. She's a city made of souls. To the devil she will.
Can you imagine asking God for money to buy time with a whore? Seeking the heart of God, next on So What. Hi, I'm Chris Dorman.
And I'm Don Waite.
Welcome back to So What. So we are having some logistical problems or technical problems recording. We usually record at my house or Don's house, but it's too windy to record outside today. And so, and in our homes, it's too loud.
Yeah.
There's too much activity going on with kids and stuff. So we're on our way somewhere else in the hopes we can find some peace and quiet to record. We thought in the meantime, let's record in the car and let's be like Jamie. Maybe we can find something we can actually use.
I'm looking at it though, Chris, and wondering if we're like on a late night talk show and we're supposed to be like singing some kind of like contemporary song.
Karaoke!
Hey!
Yeah!
Alien, you come and go, you come and go.
Loving would be easy if your living was like my dreams. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green.
Chris, as we're out here seeking a place of quiet so that we can record, it reminds me of what our podcast series is about, and that's seeking the heart of God. What does it mean to seek the heart of God? And we've been meditating a great deal, beloved, all week, actually for weeks now, really, on Psalm 84. And you really need to spend some time reading Psalm 84 and seeing what the heart of the psalmist is. Chris, the sons of Korah wrote that. And we just alluded to the sons of Korah last week, did we not?
Yes, we did. Remember we looked at Korah's rebellion out of the book of Numbers, and when Korah was not happy with his inheritance, and he felt like he was entitled to that kind of priestly access that the other Levites had, and he wanted it. And what was their punishment? God opened up the earth and swallowed the sons of Korah alive, along with all their possessions.
Wow.
But not all of the sons of Korah were killed. And we'll put the Bible verse up there for that. But some of them survived. They were probably very young, and God deemed them not guilty of the sins of their parents or whatever, but they survived. They survived. And they came to see their place with God as something very special. If you read last week's Facebook post, I went in detail of the different roles that the different Levitical tribes, different Levitical families had. And the sons of Korah, the Kohathites, their job, they were the doorkeepers.
Right.
Or the janitors. They were the janitors of the tabernacle and later the temple. And in Psalm 84, there's a very, very famous line that a day in your courts is better than 1,000 days elsewhere. And this is written by someone who really was a doorkeeper at the temple of God, at the tabernacle of God. And what's he saying? And what does that have to do with our struggle for intimacy with Christ?
Well, you got to look at what it meant to the people of Israel at the tabernacle and the temple. What did it mean to be at the temple? What did the psalmist mean when they said they wanted to dwell in a place other than that they wanted to dwell near God himself? Because the manifest presence of God was at the temple. Right. So to be a doorkeeper at the temple meant that I was a doorkeeper at the very presence of God. And so for them, this wasn't just, I want to hang out at the church. Right. It's, I want to be close to the heart of God. Yeah. And so better is one day being near the heart of God than 1,000 somewhere else.
And think of what 1,000 days is, beloved. That's like 3 years.
Right.
We were talking about this. If we had a choice,
right?
Okay, and we're not talking theoretically. If we had a choice, if God said, you know what, you can spend 3 years in some tropical island, I'll take care of everything. I'll just take care of whatever you want. Okay, 3 years, anywhere you want to go. How tempting would that be?
Right.
It would be really tempting, wouldn't it? Of course it would. Yeah. But the psalmist is saying, you know what? If I could have 3 years anywhere on planet Earth, I would give all of that up for 1 day.
Wow.
1 day with God.
So what does it have to do with praying to God to spend time with a prostitute?
So in the book of James, James is talking about prayer. And James is talking about prayer that's not answered the way the people who are praying want it answered. And James has a simple answer for that. He says, look, you're asking for stuff selfishly. You're praying for worldly things. You're in love with the world. He says, you're praying for God to give you stuff to satisfy your worldly lusts. He accuses them of being adulterers, of spiritual adulterers, of going to God and asking for money so they can commit adultery. Or praying for worldly things, so they commit adultery with the world. And I got to tell you, you know what? That's a lot of times how I pray.
Right.
I realized when I was really, 3 weeks ago, really candid with you all about how full of anxiety I was, my prayer was completely worldly. Lord, I can't have peace unless you give me blank.
Yeah.
Without that thing, I'm not going to have peace. In other words, unless you give me something that I need from the world, then I'm not going to be content. How utterly godless is that? I was committing spiritual adultery by looking to the world for a peace and contentment that He can't give me.
Right.
Only God can give that to me. Only God can give that to you.
So when you look at James, Chris, it's not a theory.
No.
We can find ourselves in James. Why? Because we even take the good things in our lives and we make those, again, the object of our affection, the object of our peace, the object of our protection. Everything becomes okay as long as I have that. Like a friend that I have said, he said he knew a lady that for her, she said this, I need this job for my life to be okay. And I can relate to that because,
Totally
with my
that.
job, I have put so much stock in my job to be okay. I want stability in my job. I want to be able to work there for the next 15, 20 years, whatever, so I can retire
And be
comfortably
okay.
and be okay.
Right.
And have all my needs taken care of. So Lord, just give me that. Just give me that. Give me stability with my family. Give me all these things on the outside that I need.
Which
But
aren't bad things.
They're not bad.
They're not bad things, beloved.
But you know what? When the storm of life is raging around you, you can still have peace. And God is teaching me that. He's showing me that I've been putting all of my stock in Jesus instead of Jesus alone. So if we're tempted to think that James is only talking to the health, wealth, and prosperity type of idea.
Not even.
Don't look at it that way. Search your heart.
He's talking to you.
Right. He's talking to us.
He's talking to me.
Right? He wants our heart, and He wants 100% of it. He is jealous for our heart, Chris. Paul said that he despaired in 2 Corinthians. He says he despaired even of life. Indeed, the sentence of death was written upon our hearts, and God did this that we might not trust in ourselves, but in Him who raises the dead.
Can you be really materially wealthy and yet be completely bankrupt?
Absolutely.
Can you be completely broke and be completely wealthy?
Absolutely.
Because wealth and poverty are measured in what? In the strength or lack thereof in our relationship with the Lord. A very, very wealthy person can be completely spiritually bankrupt.
Right.
Someone who has nothing materially can be so much more closer to the Lord because they've been taught how to rely upon Him and not themselves.
Yeah.
Beloved,
Yes.
I'm worldly. James is talking to me. He's saying I'm an adulterer. He's saying I've been praying to God for money for a whore.
Wow.
And you know what? I prayed to God to bring me closer to Himself, and in His grace and His love for me, He said, I will grant that prayer, Chris. I'm honored by that prayer. You're going to get closer to me. So I'm going to take you from the world. And that's what He's doing, beloved. He is stripping worldliness from my heart. And I'm not going to lie and say it's easy, but I am grateful.
Yeah.
And I'm not the man I was 3 weeks ago when I was talking to you. He is really doing a mighty work in my heart, a work that only He can do. Pray that He does that work in you. Pray that... So, sorry about that, but we're in the car. We're recording on Dawn's phone, and we got a phone call. We got interrupted. What I was saying is that pray that God does that work in you, that He might show you how really worldly you may be, as He has been kind enough to show to both of us, that we're really, really worldly. The reason why we don't have a contentedness and a peace of mind, the reason why we've got the anxiety we have, is because we're looking to the world to satisfy our deepest needs when when Christ is saying, I'm the only one who can satisfy those needs. Yeah.
Pray about it, friends.
That's what he wants for you. He wants your whole heart. Thank you for tuning in, my friends. And I'll talk to you next week.
See you soon.